Welcome back. Well, we're just counting down to the end of the show and end of the hour as well. The market is, you'd have to say it's down but not out. So that's the only way to put it. The Nifty is down about 80 odd points. The Sensex is down 260 points. So we have moved to the low point of trade, but there's no alarming or cascading fall. A lot of stocks are under pressure. Nestle, SBI Life, IndusInd Bank, HDFC Life are under pressure. And in the broader markets, you have some big volume and price losers. Especially in a couple of spaces like consumption. So just putting some of them in front of you. Vodafone has been, of course, under pressure for a while. So that one's down 5.5%. And Adani Group stocks, Adani Transmission, Total Gas also under pressure. But Manisha Gupta is joining in to give us a quick update on what's happening in the world of commodities. Manisha, over to you.
Thank you so much for that. And joining me is a very special guest. We have Andrew Green, Dr. Andrew Green, of International Zinc Association. Dr. Green, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And zinc clearly is the topic conversation right now. We've seen the prices continue to be very volatile. Actually, where we started this year is exactly where we are after putting that 10% of gain into the year. But when it comes to demand on the other side, how do you see the numbers now ranking up in the global markets and India too?
Hi, Manisha. Thanks for having me. It's, as you said, it's been a very volatile year, and it has to do with a lot of the factors going on with I think the world coming out of the COVID crisis, the energy crisis that's going on in places like Europe, and that's affected the supply chain. The demand has been ticking up as well. So I expect more volatility going forward as I think the market seeks to balance itself going forward.
What is your sense on the Indian demand right now? How would you categorize it? How much is India using in sense of galvanizing? And is that number expected to grow moving forward?
Yes. Right now, we view the market in India around 1.1 million tons. And obviously, the majority of that's going into galvanizing. Over 60% here in India is going into the galvanizing market for infrastructure, for automotive, and so forth. And we expect that to grow. We've heard a lot of experts last 2 days talking about this at the Global Zinc Summit here in New Delhi. And the forecast is very positive. For example, automotive. There's only a 20% intensity of use in the automotive sector right now. And the global average for that is around 95% for galvanized auto bodies. So there's a huge opportunity for growth there for India. And then if you look at the infrastructure, Prime Minister Modi's investment into the infrastructure creates a lot of opportunities for sustainable and safe buildings and infrastructure implementation by using galvanized on rebar, on the panels and so forth. I think this is critical for sustainable growth here in India.
Dr. Green, also, when you look at the galvanizing demand, how do you see India vis-a-vis the world? How do the numbers look there?
Yeah, that's where there's a big discrepancy. Like I said, the global demand right now, or use of zinc and galvanizing on automotive, as an example, is around 95%. In India, it's around 20%. In terms of per capita use, it's less than 1 kilogram per person, and the global average would be around 3.5 to 4. So in each one of those cases, you're a factor of 4, a factor of 5 lower than where it really needs to be relative to what we're seeing globally.
Dr. Green, in various other countries, we've seen a government mandate as well. When you look at the safety measures in various sectors for the use of galvanization in the Indian markets, that pretty would be desirable too. But we do understand that that's not the kind of representation that we've seen coming from various sectors within India. How do you look at the international government measures vis-a-vis India?
I think it's always a difficult situation for governments with this. You don't want to be too strict with the policies. You don't want to be less strict than what you should be, and it's hard to find that sweet spot. But we do think that there is a space for the government to enact some policies regarding, for example, the use of galvanized steel for the automotive. Again, it's about safety and sustainability. For rebar, I think if there was a mandate, a recommendation, a standard for galvanized rebar, for example, going into infrastructure, that would be a critical step forward because you're not just talking about long-term sustainable building in that case. You're improving the safety, but you're also decarbonizing. there's been information coming out showing that if you galvanize that rebar, it really improves the longevity of the concrete, and it can massively reduce the carbon footprint of that concrete, which, globally, concrete represents about, I think, 5% of the global footprint. So it would be a big impact for there. So lots of opportunities, certainly, for the government to step in and enact some policies in those cases.
Okay, Manisha and Andrew, thanks a lot for stopping by and speaking to CNBC-TV18 on the outlook for the metal prices. Appreciate your thoughts. On that note, let us wind down this edition of Halftime Report. We leave the markets under pressure, actually, down about 100-odd points for the Nifty. The Bank Nifty is the one that's exerting the most amount of pressure, down 600 points. But let's see how the second half of the trading session pans out. It's a wrap on Halftime Report.